We want to take the opportunity to chat through with you England's centre options as we come up to the QB internationals this autumn. Stuart's named his latest EPS with 4 centres.
Yes.
Manu Tuilagi looks like he's going to be the mainstay of England's centre for the next 10 years. How good do you think he can go on and be as an international centre?
Yeah, Manu's still learning. Had a nice last 10-12 minutes in the third test against Australia. Destroyed New Zealand virtually single-handedly back end of last year, but then can drift a little bit in and out of games, so he's still growing. He's still such a young man. But you're absolutely right in saying that either at 12 or 13, one of the first names on the team sheets in the backline is Manu. You see the size of Sonny Bill Williams, you see the size of Jamie Roberts. These sorts of calibre of players now, that sort of physicality is almost a prerequisite for one of your centres to be able to carry you.
That performance against New Zealand that you referenced lingers long in the memory, setting up the try for Brad Barrett, scoring a great try himself, setting a try for Chris Ashton first phase off a line-out. That was obviously with Brad Barrett. Do you see that as the future combination, and is that how to get the best out of Manu Tuilagi?
I suppose with Brad, I mean, just so dependable, so rock solid defensively. It's the style with which you want to go. If you feel that in and around you can pick a Wade, a Yard, an Ashton, Foden at the back, and you need a defensive rock, then he fills that perfectly. If you want to find a centre that perhaps offers a little bit more distribution, then you'd look at someone like Billy Twelvetrees, who had a cracking game against Scotland. His issue again is consistency. Just want to see him playing week in, week out to top level for Gloucester, as opposed to 2 in every 3 weeks. Might be quite harsh, but in terms of nailing that jersey down in the build-up to the World Cup in 2015, I think that's what Stuart Lancaster would look for. You want to play Manu with Kyle Eastmond, you potentially shift Manu to 12 and put Kyle at 13. I wouldn't say it's a position that right now we would say we're world leaders in, but I think we've got the ability to grow a midfield combination that can begin to match other world combinations.
Kyle Eastman is a very different centre to you, perhaps in style and in stature, but
yeah.
What does he offer as that fourth option at the moment? Seemingly he's in there to gain experience, and Stuart can have a look at him close up to a further extent than Argentina, but what do you think he can offer as a different kind of player?
Kyle's got just incredible ability to beat a man one-on-one. The try he scored, he stepped inside. I'm pretty confident I could have done the first step and then would have been swallowed up by 3 or 4 Argentine back row forwards. But he steps again, he had the ability to go back up on the outside. Reminded me a lot of playing with Jason Robinson. Clearly Jason Robinson has the t-shirt in both codes. Kyle's spectacularly good in a small space, beating big men. But again, really impressed in Argentina. He put Kovacic through a hole off the top of a line-out. Blind pass that wasn't quite blind. I could see what he was trying to do, but he's getting there. He's clearly learning as he goes, and then his distribution, really strong. You know, I come at it with a real microscope, and I go, most of his passes were right-left. Now, I can't throw stones in glass houses, because most of my distribution was right-left. Can he do left-right? And that's one of the keys that he'll work on with Farrell, with Cat, to be able to grow on his game. One of the challenges he has in modern rugby is size, but he more than makes up for that in terms of his pace. He doesn't shy away from tackles. You just think, though, 225 kilos was the combined weight of Jamie Roberts and Jonathan Davies. You think about Nonu and Sonny Bill Williams, and you begin to think, can you carry Kyle Eastmond in the centre with his size? Stuart Lancaster clearly thinks he can. It'll be fascinating to see him play early on in the season for Bath, to see if they play him in that position. At this stage, does he look more like a super sub in terms of the QBE internationals? Potentially, but clearly we're going to see him at some stage in November with an England jersey on at Twickenham to give us all a view of what he can do in amongst the big guns, because we mustn't hide our head in the sand that it was a cracking tour victory. You know, we won 2 tests down there in Argentina, and I think it was Bill Beaumont was the last captain, but the Argentinian selection policy was one that left a lot of their starting players out, getting themselves ready for the Rugby Championship. So it was a lovely taster, it was a lovely opportunity, but these boys have got to kick on now when they come back and play against the big guns at Twickenham.
If you had to pick now, who would you start against Australia on November the 2nd at Twickenham?
First test? God, I mean, it's so difficult, we're still in August. Manu will start at the England midfield. If you want to play with a passer, you play Billy Twelvetrees. If you feel you've got passes in and around him and your back three can offer you a little bit more. If Alex Good's playing and he's more of a second receiver, then potentially you play Brad. You want to play Manu with Kyle Eastmond, you potentially shift Manu to 12 and put Kyle at 13. They probably look to Billy Twelvetrees and Manu Tuilagi, I would have expected, in terms of the starting midfield combination. Twelvetrees to offer that distribution both ways, that good physicality, that kicking option to what will no doubt be Owen Farrell at 10, but maybe with Freddie Burns pushing him hard. I think that would be my midfield combination at the moment, Farrell, Twelvetrees, Tuilagi, with Kyle Eastmond sort of covering that back three who can drop in and offer something special.
Cheers, Will. Thanks a lot.
Pleasure.